Hello everybody, this is Eddie Nunning with the original MIDI Guitarist YouTube channel, and after a short summer break I'm back with MIDI Guitar 3, and this time with a real great virtual instrument by UVI that's just been re-released. It's called World Suite 3 this time because it's the third iteration they dropped some 2 weeks ago or something, and I've been using World Suite 3 since the first drop, and I'm showing you this because once you get into MIDI guitar playing, it's all a question of finding sounds that are really appropriate for the guitar, and here World Suite 3 really shines with all the broad palette of sounds, of folk sounds from all over the globe, nearly 400 instruments you get there, and you've heard in the introduction jam what you can do with it. So I'll just show you the website, which I'll link below in the descriptions. And here you see World Suite number 3, third iteration, and you get lots of different instruments from all over the world, stringed instruments, percussion instruments, keyboard instruments, woodwinds, fiddles, well, everything you can imagine really, steel drums, whatever you want, you'll find there. And this website is really quite well made, and there are lots of videos, and they go in depth, as you see here. These are the regions where all those instruments come from, and they show it, each region, with all the instruments and the loops and phrases. They've got a thing called Travelers, where you can mix phrases together, but that's not something I want to get into today. So just head over. You see, there's quite a lot to see and there's quite a lot to hear. They've even got a broad listening section where you can step through to listen to all the sounds. What we want to get into right now is how you use it with MIDI Guitar 3 in order to broaden your sound palette as a guitarist. So here's the GUI of MIDI Guitar 3. If you've not yet come across the program, I'll link a video here where I do an introduction on this program. But here we have our 3 channel strips, and each one contains one sound from the UVI World Suite. First of all, I searched for the instruments with stringed sounds, but not necessarily the ones with frets, but the zither-like ones with open strings, like, you know, hammered dulcimers, stuff like that. But I used, in this case, 3 different ones. UVI Workstation, which is the container for all the sounds. And if I open the first sound, you see I went for a Middle Eastern centaur, and the picture speaks for itself. Open string with sustain. On its own, it sounds like this. Quite nice sustain. In the other channel, more to the right, I have a similar instrument but from India called Swarmandar, which sounds like this. So both together sound like this. Quite nice sustain. And in order to cover the lower register, I put Western Europe Kanzele in the middle, and what I did on top was take the transposer and transpose this sound an octave down. So it sounds like this. And if I combine that with the other 2 sounds, you have this orchestral sound I had in the beginning. And so forth. So you see, as a guitarist who plays MIDI guitar, you have a big advantage compared to a keyboard player because you're used to play stringed instruments and you've got a feel for nice voicings and the way you play embellishments and stuff like that. And so UVI World Suite 3 is a real treasure trove for this kind of instruments, and you could even combine more of these if you took more slots here. But I'm quite happy with these 3. So this is the first part, the stringed instruments. The second interesting category of sounds is sustained sounds, especially for the MIDI guitars, because normally if you want a sustained guitar sound, you take an electric guitar and crank up the gain, and that's not what I was going for here. What I was searching was this clean kind of Pat Metheny sound, which he uses with his guitar synth. But what I did was use real flutes for these sounds. A whistle from Europe, North American flute, and a different North American flute, and all together with some processing in form of plate reverb and delay, they sound like this. So you can potentially get infinite sustain once you use this thing here, which is a hold pedal. I connected an Akai MK whatever with a hold pedal, and this sends to MIDI guitar. That's CC64, and that's the hold or sustain. And if I play a note, I press the pedal. Look, mama, no hands. I don't want to bore you with this, but you see, you get quite interesting possibilities doing this. You can even do some chord stuff. Whatever. So it doesn't necessarily have to be the solo kind of stuff I played in the beginning. So now we move over to the last category with keyboard and percussion. The last thing I want to show you just briefly are the 2 remaining instruments you've heard in the introduction track. The first one is an organ. Again, with infinite sustain, if you like, and this gives a nice flavor to this folky stuff I was doing. And the other thing is a frame drum. I always find it a bit cheesy when MIDI guitars play drum set, but I quite enjoy it usually when they play folky percussion like this frame drum. You get the idea. And if I play the intro track again, you will be able to listen to all these instruments I've just shown you. And here's the flute again. So that rounds up our short little trip through World Suite number 3. And if you like this video, consider watching the next one. And I hope I'll see you next time. All the best.